At FedEx, we're making reusable packaging our priority because Earth is our priority. Our goal is to be carbon neutral by 2040. We call it Priority Earth. FedEx, where now meets next.
Buying a home can feel like navigating uncharted waters. Redfin agents can help. They'll answer your questions with honest advice so you know exactly what you're getting into. They'll also help you tour as many homes as you want and show you what it takes to make a winning offer. With a Redfin agent on your side, you can sail straight to your dream home. Local expertise from Redfin. That's real estate done right. Tour subject to property and agent availability. Virginia Office Falls Church, VA, 844-759-7732.
Yo, what up, though? This is Esham, and you rocking with the Connected Experience.
Yo, what up, though, man? This is Big Greg, and you rocking with the Connected Experience.
This is Premier Pete, and you're rocking with the Connected Experience. Chill.
Oh yeah, this Jake Prince coming at you live and in living color, and you're rocking with the Connect Experience.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's comedian TK Kirkland, aka T to the motherfucking K. And when I'm in Detroit, you already know what it is. I listen to the Connected Experience. You should too.
Connected.
I'm SJ.
I'm AJ.
And we the Connected Experience.
Bro, what's the Connected Experience?
It's a lifestyle, the lifestyle, our lifestyle. How that lifestyle treat you?
Man, it's been treating me really good, man. What about yourself?
Man, I can't complain, man. You know, I'm ecstatic, man, because this episode is actually sponsored by The Adventures of Shelby Sunshine, the best family vacation. Me and my daughter the bestest, I'm sorry. Me and my daughter just released a children's book a couple days ago on Amazon, and she hit the 2 different bestsellers list, man. So I'm real happy for that. She only 4 years old, man. I got to check and see how young because she actually helped write the book, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I got to check and see what's going on with that. But
you know what, though? To stay on that, like, Ava was so excited to get that because it came today. Because what people don't realize and understand that just because we twins, we still support each other and hustle. So we ordered a couple books and they came today, and she was just like so excited. You know, so I was like, you got to call her and tell her like yours came. So she did, and then they like was having like a hang up kind of war. I don't understand what was going on. But, you know, 4 and 5. So
and then the animated series, man, we doing good on the film festival circuit, man. So I can't wait for people to see that.
Yeah, me neither, man. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of being on the film festival circuit and getting that type of recognition because those people don't know us.
Nothing.
They don't even know what we look like. They have no clue like that we're black, that
Twins,
nothing because
anything.
we use the picture of the animation for the picture of the for the circuit. So that's pretty cool.
You got a word of the episode?
Yeah, I do, man. Manifestation, a symptom or sign of alignment. What about you?
And I also got a word is meditation, and that's the action or practice of meditating, man.
Okay, now why was that your word?
Because I meditate every morning when I wake up before I get out to bed, bro. I just put some positive affirmations in the air and tell myself what type of day I'm gonna have, man. So why was manifestation your word?
Hey, because I manifest like my whole entire life to this point. Like anybody who listens to us, like, know I'm married and everything, and I've been married for 14 years. I always see myself married. I always see myself with between 0 and 2 children. I have 2 children. You know what I'm saying? The 0 was stay on the fence, but we chose those because we got a very special guest today, Billy Carson. So our whole show is the Connected Experience, and what the Connected Experience is when we started, we was like, yo, we know a lot of people. And to know a lot of people, like, that come with a lot. So we said, yo, we know a lot of people. We do a lot of stuff. People we know do stuff. And we just start connecting people and plugging people and getting to know people. And through that journey, we got to know a lot of people. So how do we get in contact with
Skrill? I think it was
Skrill.
Okay,
so Skrill, that's a partner of mine from the time. We from Inkster, Michigan. He introduced us to Dave. Through Dave, he always got Liz with him. So she called us, hey, I got Billy.
Do y'all want to? Yeah.
Of course we want to. Of course. But that's how our life works with manifestation, meditation, connections through people. And then anybody who up on you, they know, like, that's how you get down. So kind of introduce yourself to the people who don't know you and for the people who returning to see you. And then we go get into it the Connected Experience way.
Hey, thank you. First of all, thanks for having me on this podcast. It's an amazing opportunity. I'm happy and blessed to be here to be able to talk to your listeners. My name is Billy Carson. I'm the founder of Forbidden Knowledge. It's a concept that I came up with back in 2011. I had gained knowledge for 40 years, basically, of research, investigation, and traveling around the world 3 times. And I felt like I had so much boggled up inside me that the world just needed to hear. So I created the the name, forbidden knowledge, so that I can get this knowledge out that it's not exclusive knowledge, it's not top secret knowledge, but it's hard to find bits of nuggets of information that I thought people really needed to know about. And so I started pushing that, talking about it, everything from esoteric wisdom, ancient civilizations, advanced technologies, information I got from mystics and guides and sages in the woods and the bushes and everything else. And it started catching the ear of a lot of people.
Yeah. Right.
And eventually TV shows started calling me, producers started calling me, and I've been on the Travel Channel, the History Channel, the Science Channel, Discovery Channel, Dame Dash TV.
Connected Experience.
The Connected Experience.
So everything.
So talk about how a kid from New York that was living in Miami even wanted to do any of that. You said you've been around the world 3 times, and you basically like one of the biggest experts in ancient civilization. So like, when did you
ancient world civilization?
Ancient world civilization. When did you know that that's what you wanted to do when you was growing up? Like, how did you get to that point?
I tell you, it was an interesting process to get to that point. I was born in New York City in Queens General Hospital.
Okay.
But then moved to Miami, Florida when I was a kid. So when I was 7 years old, I'm living in Miami.
Okay.
In Opelika, in the ghetto. And so from there, I saw something in my backyard that didn't look like an airplane. I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
Before
you say that, is Opelika like close to the airport?
Yes.
Yeah, just for people who don't know, like it's
Right.
close to Miami Airport, so you usually would see planes coming over and leaving and coming back, right?
You get planes from 2 areas. You get one, so you get the big planes from the Miami Airport, and then you get the smaller planes that came from the nearby Opelika Airport, a private airport. That was the airport in the movie that Martin Lawrence did with Will Smith.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys 2. They did a scene at that private airport.
Okay.
Yeah. But so I was looking out there and I just saw this object. It came across my backyard really fast. I didn't know what it was. I'm just a kid. I went to my elementary school the next day at Rainbow Park Elementary, and I started looking up all the Encyclopedia Britannicas on aerospace. So we didn't have Google. We didn't have cell phones.
Right. You had to really read it.
You had to really read the information. And so I started studying aerospace. So I became like an aerospace historian first, believe it or not.
As a child.
As a child.
Right.
I was into it deep, nonstop. I told my parents, don't buy me any more toys. All I want was books on science, technology, biology, physics, astrophysics. These are all the books.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up becoming a really good amateur astronomer too. But as I started digging deeper into these technologies and then seeing things that correlated with ancient civilizations, in my mind at least, from reading these ancient books, starting off really with the Bible is what my parents first gave me, making me do book reports on it.
Yeah.
But in my brain, I was deciphering information as technology,
right?
Yeah. Not as what the people thought it was.
Literally, you wasn't taking it literally.
I wasn't taking it literally. I thought that they were trying to use the best they could, the best words they could to describe what they saw was technology.
Right.
And so when I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together, I said, wait a minute. And then that took me down a whole nother deep rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And now I've gone back far beyond biblical texts. I've gone, texts that's 30, 40, 60, some texts 100,000 years old.
Right.
And I've become an expert on these ancient texts, scripture, cylinder scrolls, papyrus papers, parchments from all around the world.
Now, when you doing this and you doing this research and you walking up in here, you this black guy from Florida with New York ties, right. how are they looking at you though? Because usually that's not something like they would expect, right? And so like, do they be standoffish when you want to say, I want to learn about that? I need to, because I heard you say one time, like, I don't just Google search something, like I spend the time and the money to dig deep into this.
Right.
So, and I know that some of these books and stuff that just put you on some radars that a lot of people might be afraid to be on. You know what I'm saying? But like, we don't have no fear, and I can tell that you don't either by watching you talk over the time I've been paying attention to you and everything. But like, what kind of pushback are you getting when you getting to dig deeper? Because the deeper you dig, the more you find out, and the more, because like, before you answer that, like, I know you a big component, like religion is just to rule the world. We've been thought like that.
Right.
Like, if we can get, because it's striking fear in you, because that sounds crazy. Like, one thing you do can put you in hell for like eternity.
Right? One thing.
But
so you got a long life,
right? But God is forgiving.
Right.
That those two things don't go hand in hand. Right. So like, what kind of pushback do you receive?
My pushback hasn't been from any mainstream arena. It's only been from the people that are still mentally enslaved.
Yeah.
The biggest haters or the biggest trolls or the biggest people that actually threaten my life, the death threats that I've gotten, which I've had to contact the FBI and the stalkers and all this kind of stuff, were people primarily that believed the world was only 6,000 years old and believe in religion.
Right.
So those are the biggest threats that I've had so far to date. I've had to go get my concealed weapons license and I have my driver's an armed guard now.
Why would somebody threaten your life because of your level of knowledge? You understand? Or
it's because it goes
you.
against what they believe. Like, so like I was just watching a video and you was talking about like Jesus, and you were saying how Jesus is not even a name, and people get so offended if you say that, but then they agree to a certain extent. Like a lot of what you find often in the African American community, like they have argue everything on Jesus with the white picture Jesus in there until you be like, but they say Jesus was black because he looked like this,
right?
And color don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Right, so anything that they find, but like when you get in these bookings and stuff, like how thoroughly do you check them out before you accept them with people? You know, people wanting to do you harm.
Right. Well, a lot of before this whole thing happened with, I don't even want to say the name because you know they can block your video, but before the situation happened where we couldn't go outside. It was very easy to vet the places because these were big conferences, huge workshops, big conferences, and then I started doing my own. So I was the one setting up my own schedule. I was making my own tours. Basically my own book tour, signing tours, my own conference tours.
That way you're familiar with the security and you're bringing everybody.
Exactly, I'm setting it up. You know, and then the other bigger ones like Contact in the Desert or Conscious Life Expo, they had 15, 20, 30,000 people. The big one I did at LA County, 25,000 people. I knew those promoters and those conference people who set it up and security and everything else. So I never really went to just some random, hey, I want to book you and I'm going to show up. They were always big events.
Okay. Yeah. So after obtaining all this knowledge, because we was talking about the Amazon bestseller list, and recently you 30 months on the Amazon bestseller list, which is good, man, phenomenal. So when did you decide that you wanted to spread the knowledge and become an author?
Well, I had been talking about, after I read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, about maybe 45 times, so we're in that range. I started then expressing myself about it a little bit online and talking to other people. Oh yeah, I read the Emerald Tablets, and I would ask them questions about them, and I realized that they only can pick up the esoteric part, talking about spirituality, seeking the light. They didn't get into the deeper meanings of it and what multidimensionality and other aspects, and they didn't even see where all the religions came out of it, and technology too. So I said, I need to write a book about this. And that was about 4 years ago. And I just kept saying it over and over again, and I just never did it. And then one day I said, wait a minute, just about 2 years ago, whatever, a little over 2 years now, I said, why I keep saying I'm going to write this book, and I'm not writing it. I know people need the book.
Right.
So I said, that's it, 2 weeks. Nobody's going to call me, contact me. I'm not going to go anywhere. It's only Uber Eats. That's it. I locked in for 2 weeks, 15 days. It's going to be 15 chapters. I did a chapter a day.
Right. Yeah. So what's the name of the book for people who don't know?
The name of the book is Compendium of the Emerald Tablets by Billy Carson.
And would you explain what the Emerald Tablets actually are for people who never even heard that term?
Absolutely. A compendium means a breaking down of or an explanation of, and the Emerald Tablets themselves is an actual ancient writing by this entity named Thoth, Thoth.
Right, and I hear you mention him a lot.
Yeah, we get the name Thoth from there, and he ruled over the land of Chem for 14,000 years. That's before it was called Egypt. It was called the land of Chem. That's where you get chemistry and alchemy.
Okay.
And this is coming directly from the Egyptian hieroglyphs. That's not something I made up.
Right. This is something that if you can just go and
you can just find it
research it yourself.
Exactly. You know, and so basically, this guy's text is just so powerful. His information was so powerful. I said, man, the world just needs to. They need to hear this. And I said, I'm going to write this book. So I put the book out. And the book became a bestseller. Right.
And when you were writing the book and you locked in for them 15 days, like since you know so much about it, how did you know what to talk about? Because you said you read what you read about it 45 times.
Yeah.
So in that you know what I'm saying? So in that 45 times, how did you break that down to what you actually wanted to get across in these 15 chapters?
Yeah. Well, when I and to go back real quickly a little bit is the Emerald Tablets. Besides being its ancient text, by the way. This text was written in ancient land of Chem by Thoth himself, and then taken across to Mesoamerica, where it was discovered underneath the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan, Mexico, then brought back to Egypt again much later.
Okay.
And so as I'm writing text and going through it, the beginning stages kind of lets you know that the more you read, the more understanding you gain, the more wise you gain, and the more enlightened you become. So I said, I'm going to read this over and over again. And it's so true. The more you go into it, and especially when you read it verbally, you create these frequencies as you're reading it. You start to get this kind of vibe. It's almost like rap. It's really strange, you know? And it had this cadence to it. And then it starts to give you these crazy meditations and everything else. And that's when I realized this thing was really powerful.
Yeah.
And I would get these enlightenment or these downloads something would pop up. This section is not what it looks like. Go back over it again. I'd go back over it again. And like there's a section where he talks about, he raises his staff and he sends out a ray of vibration, stopping the group that came to attack him like stone in a mountain. I said, a ray of vibration has stopped them like stone in the mountain. Then I started looking up technology that we have that can do that. Right. I found the active denial system in the military.
Okay.
We have something that sends out a ray of vibration at a group of people coming to attack you or them, and it freezes them, stops them like stone. It can make them feel like they're on fire, vomit, like they're in pain, and all these.
But it stopped.
It stopped.
So something that you said that was very key. You said that he wrote himself.
Yeah.
And I understood what you meant, because a lot of the text that we read and we hold near and dear to us was not written by
those people.
By those people. Like, okay, so for example, they would tell us that the Quran was written by Muhammad, but then somebody would say, well, no, he had help because he was illiterate. You see what I'm saying? So he couldn't write it. Even with the Bible.
Same old story.
Right.
It's the same old story. You just replace it with whatever racial group that you want to be in control, because we was Christians, we was Muslim, we've been to the Jehovah's Witness thing, all of it, and it's all made up, man. It's just, and I can say that because I understand why it's made up. It is made up, and I can't fault nobody for falling for the okie doke. But what I can fault them is when you hear somebody oppose that should make you want to look into it instead of die for it like millions of people do. They don't even look into it. They like, I'm going to ride for Jesus till I die. And my favorite saying is, well, on the day of judgment, everybody will know who was right.
That's right.
You will know.
You
will know who was right. So, because I think everybody, you got the right to believe what you want.
Absolutely.
But just because I believe something different, that's the conversation right there. That's
absolutely.
You don't defend it with like, we don't got to murder you because you think different. We just got to, okay, let's see why you think different.
And see, what you just said is important. We don't got to see. Murder you. See, the biggest reason on the cause for death on this planet is over religious beliefs.
Right.
Religious beliefs have killed more people. The Papal Inquisitions, 80 million people were tortured, murdered, and killed in the name of Christianity.
Right. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. And so the problem that we have is people have gone, believing in this one book is going to give them everything they need.
Right.
But in true reality, it's not. And if you look to the history of it, they tell you, and it was spread around the world by love and peace.
But murder.
Yeah.
Now,
carnage.
When you read these ancient texts and these emerald tablets and you get to understand vibration more, do you understand why so many people believe in this? Like, did he forewarn us that this was coming? Because, like, I've never heard of it. Like the common person never heard of the emerald tablets, which is something that it seems like is best for them because this was handwritten by the person as opposed to these made up stories. Like me and my brother always say, if you think the story of Jesus and Judas started that day, you can't be in your right mind. That did not start with those 4 verses before that, and then he points them out, and you say, you a Judas because you would give up your best friend. Well, was this how was this his best friend in 4 minutes? I just met you, and now I'm your best friend.
And is it more to the story?
Yeah, a lot of partial stories, a lot of cut up stories. So what I do in my book, Compendium of Tablets, I'm glad you brought that up, is I take verses from the Bible and put them side by side to Thoth's writings.
Okay.
And you see the comparison that, wait a minute, Thoth said this 36,000 years ago, and now this is in the Bible, which was written between 100 AD to 900 AD. The Bible wasn't even written in real time. It was written long after the people were long gone and dead.
After nobody even knew.
Yeah.
Only could come from stories.
Exactly. Old stories, handed down stories, and also other stone tablets.
Right.
Like the entire Old Testament is the Enuma Elish, the Atrahasis epic, the Code of Hammurabi, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Indian Vedas, and the Egyptian Book of the Dead, some of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and the Book of Adapa, a little bit of that. And so you have that. That's the Old Testament right there.
Right.
Now I got a question. So you from New York, you grew up in Miami, in the hood. When people like realize what you were doing, going on around the world, like how many people like, yo, son, you crazy? Like,
man.
Billy went crazy. Like, how? Who said that to you first?
Oh man, my friends, friends like, man, what are you doing? And of course, family members that were heavily into religion kind of shunned me. And then even when I got married. My wife's mother was a Jehovah's Witness, and she was raised Jehovah's Witness, and so I was the devil, and I was worshiping Satan.
See, and this is why that's crazy, right? Because if we Christians and we Jehovah's Witness, we're not even supposed to judge what you're doing because you'll have to pay for it. I don't have to pay for one person's sin if I believe what's going on, right? So that's it's like you can't be a Christian and say you love it, and it's not a Christian bashing. We just saying like what the real.
We
is.
starting with Christianity. We going from Christianity as the reference point because that's what most of the listeners might identify with. Like,
and it's like. You the devil because you want to know something different. Because you digging deeper.
Right.
Because what you should be saying is, okay, that'll bring you back here.
Right.
Because you go find out the truth. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because even with Jehovah's Witness, right? Like, I just can't fathom that all these people who ever lived on the world, only 144,000 people will get to heaven.
Yeah, it doesn't
right?
make any
So
sense.
What time period are these people coming from? How do you pick? How do you know? Like, how, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you never supposed to know, but it's a lot of stuff.
He just said 80 million people died from one in the name of Christianity at one time.
Right.
And
So
we telling us
144,000. And those was the things that like brung us to like digging deeper. So that's why we would say like we went to church and then we would go see what they talking about at the masjid, at the Kingdom Hall. What is really,
I even looked into the Mormon stuff. Like the Mormons, when they come over and knock on the door, come in, man, let's talk. Because I want to hear because now I don't bash nobody religion, but I want you to tell me exactly what woods that your homeboy appeared in, and then tell me where that's at in here. How does that work with all of this? 'Cause I want to hear everybody's point of view because people don't be wrong; they just be misinformed, spreading misinformation. They just they're not technically wrong because you can't argue feelings or opinions, and that's all religion is, feelings. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like being that's like your favorite sports team. But this is one thing I heard you touch on that me and my wife always touch on. Because it's either two things when it comes to Jesus, and of course, like Jesus not the real name. That's what we was taught. But it's always two things with us, right? Either this story is made up, or is he didn't exist. So something being made up and somebody not existing, two different things, right? Because I said, well, Jesus got brothers. Where is the bloodline? Right. And then I heard you mention that he was also married with children, and you mentioned the bloodline.
Merovingian bloodline.
Right. And see, that's my whole thing, right? I said, especially in today's technology with DNA testing, they will be able to go, and if DNA is real, you can find a descendant in a far relative of Jesus Christ.
They know it. They know where they're at.
Yeah, right. And that's what I said. So either that part of the story is made up, because you got to think in Islam too, they say the same thing, that Muhammad ascended to heaven, right? And that's the reason they could come back. Jesus actually supposed to have died and went to heaven. So now we waiting on the rapture to come back. But still, if Jesus and God are all loving, nobody will go to hell because you will forgive me for every single thing I did. That's why no sin is greater than the next. So that is just simple contradictions that people overlook because it soothes them.
Right. Well,
you know
I'll tell you, the biggest thing that I found in Christianity and even all the other religions is that there's this self-preservation piece that comes to mind for the individual. It's not that they really want to truly, fully believe this stuff. They're believing it only because they don't want to suffer for eternity.
Right.
So now what that's telling me is they just really want to preserve themselves. And this is based out of fear. And there's fear, there's no love.
And so with these tablets, these emerald tablets, like how much of it touched on like what we call polygamy or what is it? Monogamy. Did any of it touch on any of that? Because this is what 36,000 years prior to the Bible. So you know what I'm saying? Because like, again, just using Christianity as a reference, when people get married, like, and they say the vows out of the Bible and all of that, but then Solomon had 500 concubines. He's not, no way. I don't even know 500 people that I could put in a room. Like when you break it down. So if you don't know, if I don't know, the average man don't know 500 people that he could put in a room, and this man got 500 concubines. The thought of monogamy was made up like the rest of the stuff, like the slavery stuff, and people just don't want to accept certain little things. Like even with Islam, like with Islam and being married, they let you know if you could take care of them, but somebody think that would mean if I spend $100 on you, I got to spend $100 on her, and everything is just twisted to this like wild concept of that with marriage. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think marriage really existed in those times. I think the king go have whoever he want.
Right.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
if you look at the Emerald Tablets, I mean, it was there's no mention of any relationship type status information. That stuff comes into play in the Sumerian tablets.
Okay.
So when you get from the Emerald tablets, mostly talking about the Dark Brothers that are looking to deceive mankind, which is what we're talking about with a lot of these religions. Religions were all written by men.
Right.
They weren't written by any creator of any universe.
Right.
Thoth wrote his own tablets. He didn't even use a scribe. He put that stuff on the thing himself.
Right.
And he said, "This is what I'm telling you." The Dark.
And you
Brothers
seen the original tablets?
No, you can't see the original tablets. The original tablets are in the Vatican archives, underneath the Vatican.
Like everything else that matter.
Yeah, all the important stuff. There is one emerald tablet of Hermes, which is another one that he did, which has been deciphered, and I have it in my book too.
Okay.
That's in the Cambridge Library in England.
Okay.
And that's the one that was translated by Sir Isaac Newton.
Okay. But even with the translation, how far off could the translation possibly be? Because translation is only what he think it mean, right?
Well, if you have your own inflection or perception a little bit, but when you look at because there's been many over the years.
Okay.
There's it's not that off. It's pretty much almost the same.
That because that's kind of the thing too when you get into these religious texts or older texts, because like some letters didn't exist back then, so that's why I asked how different is it.
Certain words or letters come into interpretation.
Yeah, right. Now I got put up on you, to be honest, man, because I had the Dame Dash app, the Dame Dash Studio app,
oh, wow.
and I literally watched everything on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna lie, I got to you last because I just something told me like just say that station. You know what I'm saying? And I was just intrigued about like all of the knowledge and stuff. And so let's talk about this new book you got.
Yeah.
Woke doesn't mean broke. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people need to hear that, because for some reason, the smarter you are, people think you deserve to be poor.
You
know what I'm saying?
Exactly
and
that's why I wrote
like,
the book.
Yeah, like I don't like I'm knowledgeable, so I'm going to. And then the broke is how people look at it too, because like I am a firm believer in the universe is going to place you everywhere you need to be once you stop worrying about it. Like one day I just woke up and was like, bro, money don't exist because they can drop it in your account. You pay your bills, all of that. So money don't exist. So I started literally living like money don't exist. I've never thought about money after that again.
It's peace too.
So on today is Tuesday. If I got to pay a bill Tuesday, I'm only thinking about that Tuesday. There's nothing else.
There's nothing to worry about.
If it don't get paid Tuesday, hey, it didn't get paid Tuesday. Like, and that's where it come in. So explain why you have to tell people that woke doesn't mean broke.
I've been well off for a very long time.
Okay.
I started my first successful business when I was 12.
Okay.
By the time I was 13, I was making more than my parents. By the time I was 16, I already moved out, had 2 cars, still graduated from high school. And
it's in Miami?
That's in Miami. Yeah.
Okay, this is in Miami.
By the time I moved I moved to this place called Star Creek.
I gotta ask. Yeah. What was the business? Because people just go assume.
Okay,
Miami.
right. Now, this wasn't the cocaine cowboys.
Right.
They had a hold on that.
Yeah.
But so I tell you what happened. So I was sitting in my friend's dad's car, and his dad had a analog turn dial radio.
Now before this story, do you have siblings or are you the only child?
I got siblings. Yeah, I have 2 brothers and a sister.
Okay,
I'm the oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he was, the old turn, dial tune in radio.
Yeah.
And I had saved a little bit of my money that I got from selling newspaper subscriptions door to door. When I was 12, I got that job. My dad told me, you got to go get a job and pay rent here. So I
early.
Yeah. So 12 years old to 16, they hire you, Miami News. You knock door to door selling a subscription. I was the #1 salesman. I saved all my money. I only bought one thing. It was a watch, a calculator watch from Kmart for $19.95.
Yeah. Kmart don't exist no more, kids.
Yeah, I know, right? So I was looking at the radio. I told my friend, these digital numbers are going to be on that radio one day. He's like, no, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The next week, I go to Winn-Dixie grocery store for my mom, and there's an Opportunity magazine on the magazine rack where I used to go, but it used to be high, but this time it was right in front of my face. I opened it up. The page I opened to was Galaxy Electronics, still in business today.
Yeah.
New York City.
2021 is the 25th anniversary of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, the last comprehensive update to Internet regulation. The Internet has experienced more than a few updates since 1996, but Internet regulations have not. That's why Facebook supports updated regulations on key issues like preventing election interference, protecting people's privacy, reforming Section 230, and more. See Facebook's progress on key issues and what's next at about.fb.com/regulations.
And they had digital car radios, the first ones ever coming out, and it was wholesale. You can buy them wholesale and resell them. I had my money. I called up the company. I ordered COD, cash on delivery. They don't even do that no more.
Right.
There's no risk to them because if you don't pay the UPS man when he comes,
you're not gonna get it.
You're not gonna get it. And the guy was like, "You sound like a kid." I said, "No, I'm just getting over a cold." The guy sent me the first batch of radios, and that was it. I started selling those radios like hotcakes.
Okay, so you were selling the radios to the cocaine cowboy.
No, but what's so dope about that, right? Because even how we talk about manifestation and everything like that, even when you didn't know what you was doing, you did it because you just told your friend, like, this is going to be on here. The magazine, usually this high, is right here. Open the page. Boom. Like, it's divinity, right? Divine timing.
Divine timing.
Right.
Everything in divine timing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I started the business. Then by the time I was 13, I had people coming from the Tri-County area. I was selling the EQ boosters, the Sanyo high power amps. 10s and 12s and 15-inch subwoofers and 6x9s and the whole work. Then I had a guy from down the street who was working at this other place doing installation. He was doing installation right in front of my house.
Oh, so I could sell it to him and he'd put it in.
Nobody could beat my prices. I was working out of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I made a lot of money doing that.
That's dope. Yeah. So by the time you basically been funding everything on your own since then.
Funding everything 100%. All my travels, all my trips. I spent $250,000 in traveling.
Yeah.
All out of my own pocket. No sponsors, not one sponsor.
But that's great, man, because you never hear no. Like me and my brother, everything we do, we finance ourselves because we never hear no, and we contract you out if we need you. Now, my problem is when we contract you out, if you go do the work, if you stay a deadline, just be done by that deadline. You know what I'm saying? Or tell me you need more time. A lot of people who perform services, what I notice is they still kind of be shocked when people come to them, so they be scared to be like, all right, man, I might need 2 more weeks, because I'm a firm believer it's gonna be ready when it's gonna be ready,
when it's supposed
to be. So you needing 2 more weeks, long as it's right is right. You know what I'm saying? So where was the first place you went in the world on this journey?
The first place I went was to the Yucatan Peninsula at Chichen Itza down in South America.
Yeah.
So, you go into Mexico, then you take this 4.5, 5-hour bus ride through the jungle down to these pyramids down there. And I picked that place because this was about 25 years ago now.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I need something that's not going to be that expensive. I said that was the first reason. I didn't want to be in the air too long because I wasn't that experienced flying yet. I didn't want to be 15, 20-hour flights.
Yeah.
Someplace that I can just get back and wasn't going to cost that much money, but still had enough mystique about it that I can learn from it.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience, man. It was a phenomenal experience. I'll never forget it. And I was one of the last people really to be able to climb to the top of that pyramid of Kukulkan down there because they don't allow it anymore.
They don't allow it no more.
And I have a famous picture of me on top.
Yeah.
And were you manifesting and were you meditating and all that at this? So how long have you been into that?
I'll tell you the story. For the meditation, I started. We used to go to the wash house, the laundry mat. For those who don't know, and it was hot. No AC, of course. Miami, Florida. The pavement is 110 degrees out there, really, from the heat bouncing off the pavement.
Yeah. I
sat in back of the laundry mat one day. I didn't know what a meditation was. I just said, "It's so hot. I'm going to send my mind to Alaska."
Yeah.
And so I sent my mind to Alaska and just calmed my mind, calmed my heart. Sat down, took some deep breaths, and I felt like I was really in Alaska. When I came out of that mental state, my skin was cold to the touch.
Yeah,
I knew something had happened.
Yeah.
So I started doing those I call them thought experiments back then. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
About 2 years later, I learned it was a meditation. Yeah. That's when I had already been doing those from a very long time. I was a kid doing that.
Yeah. Right. And then when you do that, when you did that and you continue to do that, you always put yourself in a place where you want to be,
right,
and then end up there.
Right.
Yeah. So back to the book, Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. Mm-hmm. How new is the book? When did the book come out?
The book's 3 months old now.
3 months old, yeah.
And
so fairly new.
Fairly new. Bestseller already.
Good. Okay. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And that's dope, man. Like people don't understand when you put that. Like I told my daughter, I popped some champagne and gave her some juice or whatever. Right. But I told her that's hard work because I wrote a book previous to that, and I won an award for it. Nice. But the truth is, like one day I showed him. I just wrote down. I wrote my name. I wrote S.L. Jackson, best-selling, award-winning author. So it took me and my daughter to do it to make me a bestseller. But I made myself an award-winning author. But I looked at it for all the way up until
that's how you do it.
Yeah, I put it in my bathroom. I put it anywhere I look and I see it. When I'm washing the dishes across, and all of that stuff was coming true, man. So with this book, I'm gonna order this too. With this book, break down what the book is about.
Well, I knew that people had been criticizing me for being wealthy and being well off.
They eat the rich, man. In America, where everybody want to be rich, we're going to criticize somebody who's rich. But
unfortunately, it's primarily our people.
Yeah.
And,
well, not our people, because our people know better. Like that. Those people who can't see they self in those positions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like you my people. Because I see it. I'm happy when I see somebody who live in what they want to live.
I love
you know what I'm saying?
I love it because I really believe there's so much abundance and there's enough abundance for
everybody.
And people think the exact opposite, that if you got it, somehow I can't get it.
And they think what you want is what they want. Right. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like that's all
abundance means something different
for everybody. Yeah,
that's what I try to tell people. So I'm a big businessman. I do a lot of big deals, and I raise a lot of money and donate a lot of money. I can't. For me, abundance means millions of dollars. Yeah. Like I've helped raise and generate close to over $12 million now over the last 10 years. Okay. And I can't do that if I'm sitting in the robe slippers on a prepaid phone. Right. Another person, abundance might mean they just got their water bill paid on time. Right. And that's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Your fight is your fight. Right. Your path is your path. There's nothing that nobody else could do to stop your path. And I think people say stuff like that, but they don't believe that because they don't walk in their purpose. Like when I woke up and discovered whatever I felt like my purpose was, I remember the day, I remember the feeling, and I remember ever since I felt like that was my ever since I knew that was my purpose, I never nothing ever stopped me from doing whatever I had to do in that purpose. This is actually a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I just said, well, they're criticizing a lot of my posts. If I'm sitting in my Rolls Royce and I'm doing an Instagram live, well, I don't have a Toyota Camry.
I'm just sitting in my car. It's a Rolls Royce to you. It's a car to me.
Then I go. Let me sit. So I sit in my other car. My everyday car is a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. So I'm sitting in that. I'm getting criticized for that. I'm like, well, I don't have a rust bucket. I don't know what you want me guys to do. You want me to go run and stand in front of some old junk, or maybe let me sit in a taxi? Maybe I don't know. So I said, you know what? I got to change this mindset because this lack of abundance mindset, and this if you conscious or if you chasing these things that are up, higher multidimensional levels of thinking, that you have to be poor. That's bad. That's a bad way of thinking. You can't tell people you're going to be manifesting. You're going to be able to. You have power inside of you. You got all this light inside of you, and then you can't pay a light bill. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's going to believe you.
Exactly.
So I said I'm going to put spiritual practices, affirmations, and combine that with understanding how to navigate the financial matrix. And I have every aspect of financial matrix in that book. 688 pages.
I seen that. I had seen that. I actually was like, God damn. Like it's like I in my head I just said this is a manual for something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's literally what is it an audio book too? You got it on audio?
There's no audio book for
because
that
you prefer people to read.
I prefer people to read the books because even the compendium, people when you come up with the audio, once you put the audio book, the value of your book drops.
So the first book that I wrote is called Animal Instinct, The Urban Jungle, and it's an urban fantasy. I'm an urban fantasy author and a child author now, but I got regular urban stuff too, but that ain't dropped yet. But it's what we did is we had the lady read the audio book, and we said, "No, man, we got to do something different." So what we did is we used the audio book track. Nice. And we put it to an animated version of the book. That's so good. our the animated series that we talk about on the film festival circuit is actually think of it as an audio book meets a comic book. So we call it a video, animated video audio book.
Theatrical audio.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to get you the link to check it out.
Something you just mentioned was multi-dimensional thinking. Kind of break that down because this for people who don't pay attention to you, who might not know how you speak yet. Kind of tell them what that means, because like how you say, I heard you say one time, like energy is literally transferred. Like every thought anybody ever thought is out here in the universe, and nobody can stop it. We just computers right here for the time down. That's why you said you didn't say something. You said you was downloading information because it's all about technology, and we just here through the technology for this time being. Kind of speak on that.
Yeah, so basically we have, in theoretical physics at least, we believe that there's 11 dimensions that exist in this universe. So we believe that if wouldn't be 11, the universe itself would collapse. Right. And so what we found that through this theory and through really doing some thought experiments within mathematical experiments, it seems as if information is being passed down through these different densities till it gets to the third density or the third dimension.
Which is where we are.
Which is where we're located, right? So we're occupying the third dimension, but directly on top of us, stacked so tightly and so close, are other dimensions directly above us, and they're one Planck unit away from us. The only thing that's keeping us from those dimensions physically is our atomic frequency, the resonance of our actual atoms in our body. So if we were able to phase shift the atomic frequency of the atoms in our body, we can literally walk right into another dimension. So, but now what does go multidimensional is consciousness. They've already figured this out now. It's a fact even through analyzing the way that brain synapses work and analyzing brains through scans, through different people thinking and being connected to a computer, they can see that certain thoughts phase in and out of the third dimension. Where are they going? They're going multidimensional.
Okay.
Consciousness is being streamed down from a higher place and is coming down through dimensions until it gets to us. The evidence of this is an experiment they did where they had people sitting in a room, different rooms, watching screens with pictures on them, connected to a computer with their brains.
Okay.
And they started seeing that the people's images, the way they had responded to the images, were showing up to 7 seconds before the image showed up on the screen. So they were saying, wait a minute, if we show this image of a lady kissing a baby on the screen, the person's brain, before that image showed up, the person's brain transmitted it to a computer already that they knew what the next image was going to be.
Right.
How did this happen? That means we're living in a delayed time. What's this delay? The delay is the time it takes for the signal to get to the avatar body. Just like on satellite TV, you have cable TV here on one TV, satellite TV on this TV at the same time. Cable TV is going to be more real time. Satellite TV is going to be delayed.
And even if you got two cable TVs on in the same house, one of the TVs,
you hear it when
faster.
you,
Exactly. So that's what's going on. So we found out that, there's multidimensional thinking, this multidimensional consciousness. And when you start to think at a higher plane of existence, your mind is actually stepping up. So there's levels within levels. So right now, with the way we're thinking and looking on things, it's not that we're looking down on people, but we're looking down on their level of consciousness. We can, from a higher point in space-time, we're able to see that they're down here. And it doesn't mean anything is wrong with them.
Right, because at one time, I was just going to say that, like you got to know people that's more conscious than you, because they got to open up your consciousness even more.
Another thing I heard you say about the frequencies when people do things is when people praying, that they're begging and it's a lower frequency, but you should command. So kind of touch on that, because touch on that.
See, if I connect the electrodes to your brain and connect to a computer and then tell you to start praying, what's going to happen is on that computer screen, I'm going to see a very slow, wide oscillation. The depths and the troughs are going to be spread out. The wavelengths that they're going to create, the amplitudes are going to be spread out, which means you're operating at a low frequency. When you start begging, pleading, hoping.
Me and my brother usually say hope is for losers and Christians.
It is. It's a low. It just scientifically, it's proven.
Right.
It's a low
because
frequency.
when you taught to pray, you taught to beg. Like when I put something in the universe, I just tell the universe, this is what I want.
That's all
if it's not, this is what I want.
Right.
This is what I want the universe to do for me. However the universe see fit that I get done, the end result. I never look at how the journey to get there. I just the end result.
It will manifest. It is done.
Yeah.
And so I tell people is you have to go from a different mindset. The mindset is commanding things into existence.
Right.
Believing in the end before the end.
Right.
Believing it is done before it is even done.
Yeah.
So when I get on my flight to travel here, I don't go, please God help me get to my destination safely. I just say I command that I arrive at my destination safely. And then I envision the flight path from Miami, Florida to dropping off in Detroit, and I see a safe flight, and I see myself getting in the car and driving away perfectly safe and healthy.
Right.
I don't pray over food. I just command that the food be healthy for me. Now, if it's a doggone Snickers bar, I don't say nothing.
Right.
Because
we know you already know.
It ain't healthy.
Yeah, I already know.
Don't pray over, hog moss and
because you know what that's gonna do.
Macaroni and cheese, because it's not going to. The prayers and they're not going to do anything for you.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you about how you feel about cannabis.
Listen, I think it's a phenomenal thing. I don't use it because I don't have a need to.
Right.
But if I found out that there was an illness in my body that I can use it for, or if I was suffering from PTSD or something that I knew it could calm me and keep me sane, I would use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that it's a plant, and so people who have been arrested for that, I think they just locked up a bunch of florists, and I think it's a horrible thing.
I mean, that's the American way.
That's a sin.
Yeah,
they're making money off of it now, and they got all these people locked up for selling plants.
40,000 people still incarcerated.
And what about your diet? What type of diet do you?
I have a mixed diet. I used to be 100% vegan.
Okay.
I even tried raw vegan for a long time. I started off eating mostly plant-based from the time I was a kid, simply because I was afraid to swallow the meat, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with any kind of, I love animals, but it wasn't because of that.
Yeah.
I just was grossed out by it. As I got older and into sports, I had to eat whatever, because we were so poor. I was eating toast and syrup at home. So whatever the coach gave me, I ate it.
Yeah.
And, and then got older, got back into my plant-based again. But then in the last 10 years, I started getting really sick. And come to find out, I was depleted of a lot of nutrients because I wasn't doing it the right way.
Okay.
I had gotten really, really sick. There's some images and videos of me online where you can actually physically tell that I'm not healthy.
Okay.
I was at the point where I was literally almost going to be on my deathbed.
Okay.
And I got my sister involved, and I found this MD that went holistic. And between the two of them, my sister was a 4-time world champion bodybuilder and a nutritionist.
Okay.
And this other woman's an MD who became an actual nutritionist and holistic healer.
Okay.
And between the two of them, they have me on a mixed plant-based diet that does include a small percentage of meat and other supplements and vitamins, which brought me literally back to life. Right. I was in a bad. I couldn't even do one push-up. That's how sick I had gotten. That wasn't because of muscle strength. It's because that the inflammation was so bad that I couldn't even push my body up off the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we keep mentioning this Rolls Royce. Everybody mad that you in your Rolls Royce and all that. But let's talk about this big thing that you're doing, man. At the end of the year, this Rolls Royce giveaway. You auctioning off a Rolls Royce. Let's talk about that.
Oh no, he's raffling it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not auctioning, raffling. Those are two different things. Yeah, you raffling off a Rolls Royce. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that was my second Rolls Royce. I had one before then. That one.
Oh, you should have never just said that. They really gonna be upset at you. The second Rolls Royce. But
I'm on my third one now because I just bought a new one. So this time when I bought the new one, which was only 3 weeks ago, I said, "What am I going to do?" I was riding around with my son. I was like, "What am I going to do with this one?"
Yeah.
I had just bought it and everything, and I was like, "Well, what am I going to do with this one? This is in great condition. It's like, this is a super, super duper luxury." And I said, if I sell it, I can, take the money and invest it, but how can I help somebody with this car? And I realized if I raffle this car off, I can do a double dip because I can actually give this car to somebody who's going to get a raffle ticket for $50,
right?
And they can take this car and invest that money into their own business, real estate,
whatever.
So
they can accept the cash value for the car, and or they have to physically accept the car, then sell it back.
Then sell it to somebody. The car will sell it the same day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Anybody will buy the car.
If I win, I'm bringing somebody with me.
And so that's what I said. And then I'm going to take the proceeds from the raffle, and I'm going to help. Every year I've been doing like 2,000 holiday gifts. I'm going to do like 4,000 holiday gifts to underprivileged children.
The backpack giveaway.
4,000 backpacks. For fall and also for winter because people run out of their bags get tore up. They run out of school supplies.
Yeah, and
then also single parent final notice electric bill. So I was doing that myself for the last 4 years, $46,000.
Yeah,
every winter I log into people's bank. Log into their people's electric bill account with my banking information and pay their bill.
Yeah.
So they would go to my website. I put a link up every winter that says FP&L or your electric bill discount, whatever. They'll log into there. They'll fill their information out, and I'll check it out. Call them. They have to send me a copy of their real final notice bill. If it's a real final notice, and I say, okay, I can pay this one, I'll log in and pay it. Now this time I'm going to take a lot of that money from the raffle and pay a lot of these final notices.
Right, which will actually ultimately do more.
Right. So how will somebody get in the raffle?
Well, just go to my website, forbiddenknowledge.com. That's with the number 4, BIDDEN.
That'll be in the link of the description. That'll be in the description.
Forbiddenknowledge.com. Then at the top, it says Rolls Royce giveaway.
Okay.
Click on that. All the rules and regulations are there. Rolls Royce in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the Holman Motor Cars is actually going to host the raffle right there.
Okay.
I'm not doing the raffle myself personally. It's a third party. Keep it all in the up, legit.
Up.
No family members of my company and employees of my company or whatever can win the car.
Okay.
It's a third party raffle, and I'll be live there on that day when we do it that weekend of December the 18th. Anybody can come down in person if they're in the area, want to come in town or whatever. I'll be there, sign autographs, sign books, whatever.
Yeah.
And the car can be shipped to anyone who wins anywhere in the world.
And the shipping is with the winning of the raffle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I don't got to pay for this to get.
Oh, no. It's included. And anybody who buys a raffle ticket, they automatically get 6 months of Forbidden Knowledge TV, my TV network.
Right.
Which is $7 a month. But I'm giving them 6 months for free, so they're automatically going to get something out of it.
Now, where do they find the TV network at?
Just all on the site is also?
Yeah, forbiddenknowledge.com. Just click on TV.
Now you seem pretty sharp when naming and speaking about things. Yeah. Why did you call it Forbidden Knowledge again?
Well, Forbidden Knowledge is, it's information that's kind of hidden or hard to find.
Yeah.
And so I decided to put together information. I found that I could bring pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can do this for people, I can bring them to forbidden knowledge, the knowledge that's been hard to find. They don't have time to research this stuff. They got kids, jobs, and distractions going on. And if I can put this information together in a way where they can now go research all these little different pieces and come up with their own conclusions, I'm bringing them the forbidden knowledge.
That's dope. Now you got something else big going on in August 22nd at 2:22 it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's going on August 22nd, 2021 at 2:22.
Doing a meditation to help reduce police brutality.
Okay.
And so, we've tried everything, obviously. Picketing, rioting.
Yeah.
Well, them really wasn't riots because I don't really think I can't really 1,000% say that those was done by people of the community.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about over generation.
Okay.
But I don't believe that.
As in
we know who they were. That wasn't our people.
Right.
But so I just figured, what, meditation is a powerful tool. We're talking about, again, the ability for the mind outside of space, mind outside of time. A brain now we found in laboratory conditions. Okay, real science, peer-reviewed science, they can take your mind frequency and they can control his hands using your brain. He can hold a controller for a video game. These are real experiments.
Yeah.
And they can have you think about moving the controller and his hands will move without him trying to move them. So they've now got this inter-brain linking thing going on. They've discovered that you can send your emotions into his body in laboratory conditions. They've got it all figured out. Why can't we meditate on the heart chakra of people on active police duty and increase their empathy by sending our empathy into their bodies outside of space and time and thereby decreasing the amount of police brutality that's happening. And this is a passion for me because my father died from police brutality.
Oh, how old were you?
That was only 2 years ago.
Oh, so what?
Yeah.
In Florida?
In Florida, Palm Bay. So he went to a concert. He was 74.
Yeah.
He went to a concert that he was invited to by one of the band members and put in the front row.
Yeah.
And it was a big Band 50 concert, so of course it's mostly not our color there.
Yeah.
He was the only one. He had on a suit that I had just bought him.
Yeah.
And shoes. He never leaves the house. First time he left the house in months. Unfortunately, somebody got called 911, they call them Karens or whatever.
Yeah.
And said there's a black vagrant in the front row harassing everyone.
And he was invited to the show.
Within 4 minutes, the cops came with all the cell phone cameras and everything. They didn't even care. They just literally went to beating him, broke his back, gave him a double concussion, left him there bleeding.
A 74-year-old man.
74-year, 118, 120 pound. He was, bone thin, little tiny guy. My dad was a tiny man. I don't even know how I got this big.
Yeah.
And it was a bad situation. And it led to him taking a lot of pain medicine and drinking and never fixed his back right. So finally, after he couldn't handle it no more, he increased to like 5 to 6 cases of beer a day. He went to the hospital again, and they said, "We got to admit your back's not right. It's gonna be one